highest attendance we've had was about 300. That was before 2020. Then in 2020, we didn't have camp because, and so then we came back with 2021. That was our lowest, 150 people, but it's been gradually rising since then. Last year was 185. This year was 195. So we are climbing back up. 99 of those were teenagers. 7 of those teens were actually junior staff. And then, of course, in addition, we had the 28 Wolf Cubs and Benjamites. So let's start with the testimonies. Well, actually, first before that, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who prayed, because without prayer, we couldn't do anything. So I know not everybody could send their kids, not everybody could go, not everybody can donate money, but to every single person who was a prayer warrior and got down on their knees and prayed, that's why we have this camp. That's why it's here. So many things happened. I was on the intercessory prayer team this year, and I'll get into that with my testimony. So let's start with, just a second. Okay, hold on a second. Technical difficulties. Okay. So a lot of the kids who were not here because they're either out of town or sick, they sent in their testimonies, and this one's from Elena. She says, my favorite part of Camp Mashiach was ... everything. A few details are, both this year and last year, only the guide fell off my boat during whitewater rafting. That's another story. Best wishes to Mr. Blake, who fell off my boat and busted his knee. And Steve, the speaker, who was just as good last year. And zip lining was great. Camp Mashiach is the best camp I've ever gone to, but it is also the only camp I've ever gone to. So that was from Elena. All right, so now we're going to get to the rest of them. Thank you for your patience as I scroll. There we are. Okay, so this one was from Amara Blake. She said, I had an awesome time at camp and made lots of friends who made me laugh. Even though Elena, Lacey, Zeke, and I weren't on the same team, we still hung out and had fun. Being born again means following the King and living by his Torah. Even though I was already saved, baptized, loved the Lord, and tried to follow him, I chose to rededicate myself to him like so many others. It was great seeing others get saved or rededicate themselves. I got to encourage others, and they encouraged me too. Worshiping the Father was amazing, and it was easy to get caught up in all the excitement. A funny moment was when my tribe's toilet wouldn't stop flushing, and everyone laughed so hard. I'm really thankful I got to go and hope I can come back next year. I am the raccoon cookie monster. I think she threw that in because they were doing Muppets for one night, but those pics didn't get in the video. All right, so then we have Lilani's, her younger sisters, Lilani Blake. At camp, I learned that Father is always with us. To be close to him, we need to read his word, pray, and worship him. We even learned the difference between praise and worship, which was really cool. I had so much fun doing archery, swimming, and playing the Junior Goliath game. My favorite part was the chalk fight, where we threw colorful chalk all over each other. My hair and clothes were covered in chalk, and I kept finding chalk in my hair for days. One kid even had so much blue chalk that his hair stayed blue for a while. It was hilarious and so much fun. We also ate s'mores, danced, and made great new friends. I'm really happy I went and hope to come back next year. So let's see, there's another one here. I'm going down to Saphira's. There it is. Okay, the oldest Blake daughter, Saphira Blake. Camp Mashiach was a valuable and fun experience, and I'm grateful for the chance to experience with my friends and family. My favorite activities were the zip line and archery. Going so high up on the zip line and feeling scared for only a moment until the rope catches you reminds me to have faith, even when it feels like you're falling, because the Father will be there to catch you. I enjoyed archery a lot and hope to have the chance to try it again soon. Besides the activities, there were many other fun moments at camp. I loved seeing all the costumes made for theme nights and how creative people are. Some of my favorite moments were seeing so many youths, including my new friend Abigail, who would pray for one another unprompted throughout the duration of camp whenever they noticed someone looking down. It was truly incredible to see so many teens show great love for the Father and for one another. So many teens held doors open for each other, graciously thanked the cooks and staff for every meal, and each tribe was able to connect and form new friendships. I know of at least 2 tribes, mine and Amara's, who decided to keep in contact and pray for one another, and I'm sure other tribes had the same experience I did. But by far the best part of camp was during the services. It was so beautiful and touching to see the youths, girls and boys, going up and dancing in worship. I'm grateful for Elena bringing me up to wave flags during worship one night. Though I was nervous, it was a lot of fun, and I felt courageous knowing she was there with me. More than anything, I felt the most connected to the Father during the times when we were called up to the altar. It was such an humbling and powerful experience to go up and pray with and for other teens, especially on Thursday night when almost everyone came to the altar. In that moment, I felt that is exactly what we are called to do, to pray over one another and be connected in our prayers. I would love to see our congregation integrate that more. Throughout this camp experience, I felt closer to Adonai even before going. I knew he was calling me to go despite my nervousness. I am truly grateful to Pastors Kenny and Jeff for giving me this experience, and if the Father is willing and calling for me to return as a junior staff next year, I'm willing and eager to obey. So let's move on to
Hello. This has been my 4th year of camp, I believe. And it is unlike any other camp I've been to. I've only been to 2 camps in my life, and this one has been the most spiritually impactful. A lot of people come and talk about, the activities, the food, which was great, by the way, but and they say that the services was great as well, and they are, but I think my favorite part is the tribal devotion where you sit with your tribe and you talk about the Bible, and it's kind of like Torah talk, how you can kind of just hear other people's opinions and everything, and you can just learn so much about the people in your tribe, some things I could have never guessed. And it's helped me be able to pray for them and just get to know them better. So it was just a really, really great experience. And I think this year has been the most spiritually active that we've had. And during the last night of camp, I believe it was, yes, during the last night of camp, one of the speakers came up and he said, anybody who needs to give their life or rededicate their life to the Father, please come up. And almost the entire camp came up. And 4 of my best friends, including my brother, rededicated their life that night to God.
Camp was very impactful to me. Because of camp, I rededicated my life. And if I didn't go to camp, probably that wouldn't have happened. One of my favorite parts were the tribal calls in the morning. You would wake up early and do exercises like and the food was very scrumptious. It was very good.
You don't have to. I want to. Dad, would you read AJ's?
Okay.
Here. I'm a JJ. I'm sorry.
Okay. This is AJ Menensis. JJ Menensis. Sorry. Yes, JJ Menensis. Okay. This is him speaking. It was a new experience and was nice to meet new people. A big thanks to the Costelas for, Yes, that. Okay, for the opportunity to attend Camp JJ.
And Stevens, you got Stevens?
Yes.
So now he's going to read Stephen Blake's. Y'all pray for them. They're not feeling well. Family's under the sick.
And this is Stephen Blake. Stephen Blake writes, "This past week at camp was nothing short of incredible. I had a humbling opportunity to lead a group of amazing young people. And from the very first day, I could see the Father was already at work in their hearts. We laughed, prayed, and dug deep into the Word together, and each moment felt full of purpose. Throughout the week, I watched walls come down, hearts opened. Questions were asked, tears were shed. Yes, I did fall out of the raft." Yeah, he had a falling out at camp. Okay. "And bruised my knee." And we left him very far down because we couldn't go backwards and pick him up. So, yeah, he got back in though. Okay. "But I was very happy to save my sister from falling into the rapids." Right. "By the time we reached final service, I knew something powerful was about to happen. As the invitation to come to the altar was given, I watched almost every person in my group step out in boldness. They came forward not because they had to, but because they wanted to surrender, to be changed, and to say yes to the Father's call. All but one responded to the Spirit's tug, and even that one, I believe, was deeply touched and is still on a journey. The Father has not forgotten. His timing is perfect." It was a moment I will never forget. Leading this group reminded me that we are never too young or too far gone for the Father to reach us. Seeds were planted, lives were changed. I truly believe this camp will be a spiritual milestone in their walk with Him. I hope even more people will get to go next year. All glory to the Father for what He did. I'm just grateful I got to witness it. Shake that tree branch."
That's reference something said in the messages.
Yes.
All right. So if you want to go ahead and give your testimony, then I'll give mine.
All right. As a servant leader at camp, that's exactly that. I went praying, and this is where I fully expected. And as I say, hope is not a wish. Hope is an expectancy. You go there and you pray, and this is where the Lord works. And just as Pastor spoke today, you pray until you hear Him. And that's exactly, you pray through. This was a camp of many spiritual battles, because when you show up and you're actually doing the master's work, well, then the enemy shows up too.
That's right.
And there was many spiritual battles, even with the leadership. Some of the leadership left. And they were servant helpers, but you know, when there are problems, that, you know, you either face those problems and you work through them, you know, and some just as in the message today, do they cower and don't, you know, you have to see the glass half full, not half empty. And I'm just an empty vessel. In the prayer, I was part of the prayer group, and the vision that was brought about by more than just one is that we're brooms. We were just meant to be a tool in God's toolbox to be used. And we are just empty clay pots. We're empty vessels to be filled, to be used, and you look for opportunities to serve. And it's different than being a camper. When you're washing dishes, you do it until they're done, and you don't get a chance to, you know, get spiritually filled with the service or dance or a lot of that. You have to fill your glass early. Quiet time is when it's quiet. It's in the morning, it's early. So you have to get up early, and it's all for the children, because, and then in the spare times when they're not having service, you're down there shouting, you're down there praying into, because God's gonna show up, and because we prayed, this is the thing that changed the atmosphere of camp. And this is, by the time it ended, God showed up. And that's the thing. Because if you don't understand, a lot of kids come here with hurts. They come here with things from the world. They put their cell phones away. They develop things that they haven't done in 6 months. They haven't been separated from their phone for I don't know, 6 months, and then they come for a week, and it's surprising how friendships develop, pen pals develop. And people were from all over. They were from Texas. They were from Alabama, Florida, Puerto Rico, Wisconsin. Michigan. Excuse me, Michigan. And they're from Virginia, obviously. And this was just an incredible time for connection. And the whole thing that was on my heart was community. Community is where people get together, and where you have to make the turkey sausage. You have to come together, and it's not, yes, you're giving in, but you're lifting the Torah high. You keep thinking like you're making a compromise, but you're not. You're lifting the Torah. You're all getting like the Philippians who had unity of mind. And you're coming together for one purpose. It's for the people that don't know their left hand from their right. It's said of Yeshua and his disciples, a smoking reed will he not quench, and a bruised reed will he not break. These children are fragile, and you even had to go through a background check before you even were to be in the presence of these kids, because they were in your care. And that's the one thing, and the prayer is the thing that really came about. When you're praying for these children, that's the thing, because you're praying a hedge of thorns from distractors. And camp is more. I would say to anyone, start praying now for even next year, that you would want to just serve, give time. You don't have to be preachers. You just have to be an empty vessel that wants to serve.
Dishwasher. James 5:16 says, the effective, fervent prayers of the righteous avails much. And that's one thing that I felt this time at camp, and several others have mentioned it as well. This was the most spiritual time of camp we've ever had. We've been doing camp since 2016. And this year, we've always prayed for camp. We've always had adults, get together and pray. This year, we actually had an intercessory prayer team. We knew who was on the team and when we were supposed to meet. We had designated meeting times, meeting places. We would literally pray for hours over the camp. We went down to the tabernacle. We prayed over every single chair in the tabernacle. We prayed over every single chair in the dining hall. And when we prayed, we blew the shofar. We knew that it was a massive spiritual warfare. It always is every year. But this year in particular, whenever you're about to do something for God, the enemy doesn't like it. When he knows something big is going to happen, when he knows that God is going to touch the lives of children and change them and put them on the right path and make them warriors in the kingdom, enemy doesn't like that. He don't want warriors in this kingdom. So we prayed and we saw things happen at camp. There were disturbances, there was distractions, people weren't getting along together, people were fighting in the tribes. And we got together and we prayed over the leaders, over each tribe and each child, and it stopped. Yeah, I know the flesh is in there too, but there was some spiritual warfare going on. So God just showed up. And your prayers are put in there. They're put in there with that. And every prayer strengthens what goes on at camp. And not just the spiritual warfare, onto something lighter. Your prayers also help in practical ways. When you get that many kids together and they're playing games and they're doing stuff's going to happen. Injuries are going to happen. We've had, in the past, people had to go to the hospital for various injuries, one thing after another. This year, there were no major injuries. Yay! And so, we did have somebody fall out of their boat. That was Steve. And so we didn't have any kids fall out that I know of. So I have a record, I have a record. As many times as I've gone rafting, I have never fallen out of the raft. And I still have that record. But I only have that record because after Steve, this is just a total God thing, Steve fell off, and he was the guide. So just, spiritual application here. When you're the guide, you're on the highest part of the boat, and it's easiest to bounce off because you don't have anything to hang on to. He put himself in that position, willingly, and sure enough, hit the rapids. He fell out. He did hit a rock, did bust his knee. Joseph went back there to get him, brought him back in. And then we went over some more rapids, and I got Elena, she's tiny, on this side of me, so I'm trying to keep her from falling out of the boat. And this has never happened before, but the boat went sideways, and I just lost my balance. And I just tipped over sideways. My head was inches from the water, and all of a sudden this arm comes out of nowhere, and Steve just whoops me back in the boat, and he goes, "Not today." I was like, okay. So then I thought, okay, I've still got my record of I have never fallen out of the boat, but that's not on me. It's because somebody else helped me. Yeah. So every single person here, you're on the right path. If you're on the right path, we've got somebody else to thank. It's not our own glory. It's not us, oh, look how good I am, I'm keeping Torah. No, you got somebody behind you who is praying for you, helping you, and keeping you on the right path.
So we also need to pray for those who make decisions?
Yes. I'm getting there. Don't jump it. So yes, that was one thing. We had the most decisions for the Lord made this year, either people getting saved or people making decisions for the Lord in some way or another, rededicating their lives. So I would encourage you to keep on praying. Like he said, keep on praying for next year. We do have some merch. We got a couple of bags left over if you want a bag. We've got a water bottle out there with the Born Again. Born Again was our theme for this year. We are going to be doing funding. So if you want to donate, you can see me or Pastor. And I think that was all that we had. So
Pray to serve next year.
Pray to serve next year. We always need staff. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, very quickly, we need to eat, right? We need to eat. After we fellowship together, after